The 2nd of October 2017, Max Verstappen delivered an overdue first win of 2017 while Lewis Hamilton extended his title lead over the recovering Sebastian Vettel. JeepUpdate.net presents its winners and losers from Malaysia. Winners of his maiden win owed a little to fortune and strategy. Max Verstappen's second Formula One victory was achieved in emphatic fashion. Few would have expected Verstappen to endure a 30-race wait between his first and second triumphs, but an array of incidents and reliability issues hobbled the precocious youngster, and on each occasion he grew in maturity and added another feather to his bow of knowledge. Malaysia presented an opportunity to Verstappen and he pounced brilliantly, picking off Lewis Hamilton with a daring, clever move into turn 1. "I know that Lewis has more to lose because he's fighting for the championship, so maybe I look a bit of extra risk because of it," he said. "It was my only chance, I think, because that was one of the laps I could see he was clipping a bit more than I was." From there, Verstappen was dominant, breezing to a well-deserved win by 12 seconds. This was a defeat and a victory for Lewis Hamilton. Mercedes' Friday struggles prompted Hamilton to revert to the older specification W08 package, and he put in a stellar qualifying lap to register an unlikely pole position. Mercedes typically talks up its rivals, and plays down its own pace, but this time its warnings were not hyperbolic, and engine derates dented Hamilton's chances, as Verstappen put in a superb move. However, while Hamilton missed out on victory, he still added 6 points to his title lead over Sebastian Vettel, in the wake of the Ferrari driver's setback in qualifying. Vettel's race pace suggested that he would have walked away with the spoils had his engine held up. Of course, this is all part of game, so despite having to accept the runner-up position, it was another save for Hamilton and Mercedes after the miracle of Singapore. Stoffel Vandoorne's full-time Formula One career began badly, as a concoction of poor reliability, unpredictable machinery and his own inexperience spiraled, reaching a nadir with a bafflingly off-the-pace and clumsy display in Spain. It led to a dressing down, and a deep analysis, and since mid-season Vandoorne has displayed the pace and performance that his junior career promised. Vandoorne was immaculate in qualifying and beat Fernando Alonso, despite not running the upgrade package, prompting Eric Boullier to proclaim that the 25-year-old had nailed it. Vandoorne made a superb getaway to move into 5th and kept Sergio Perez at bay into turn 4, before ultimately ceding to the quicker Force India racer a few laps later. Vandoorne came home 7th, equaling his best result, and finished 35 seconds up the road from Alonso. Even accounting for Alonso being compromised by traffic, Vandoorne comfortably had the measure of his teammate. Losers: Ferrari needed to bounce back after its dismal showing on home soil and pinballing in Singapore, and the omens were promising after practice, as Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen ruled the roost. However, Vettel's problems in qualifying and Raikkonen's pre-race failure denied it a hatful of points, and a potential win, while the bizarre post-race collision for Vettel left Ferrari with a rebuild job and the chance of a gearbox grid drop for Japan. However, encouragement comes in the form of the SF70H's pure pace ally to Mercedes' struggles with its upgrade package. The constructors' title is out of reach, but Vettel remains in the hunt for the driver's crown. Nevertheless, the deficit was 28 with 6 to play and is now 34 with 5 left. Ferrari does not need to be reminded that it cannot afford another race in which it snatches defeat from the jaws of victory. Valtteri Bottas' slim title prospects are now dangling by the smallest of threads after a lackluster weekend at Sepang. Mercedes struggled during Friday practice, but whereas Hamilton ditched the updated package, Bottas stuck with it, and was unable to make the required jump from Q2 to Q3, leaving him 5th. An inspired start moved Bottas to 3rd, as he briefly battled Verstappen, but his absence of pace was soon evident, and it was a surprise that it took Ricciardo 9 laps to pull clear. Bottas, on average, was 3/4 of a second slower than Hamilton per lap, and trailed home in abject 5th. Over on a lap, he has faced a deficit of over half a second to his teammate at 5 of the last 6 Grand Prix. It is an alarming slump, and he needs to dig himself out of this hole. Jolyon Palmer arrived at the scene of his maiden Formula One point, having captured his best finish at the previous round, raising hopes that he could force his way into contention for a 2018 seat somewhere. However, any potential suitors need only to have watched a sequence of 2 spins in 3 corners to have been dissuaded from acquiring his signature. Having pinned the first rotation on a gust of wind, Palmer lost his composure and clumsily tried to repass Kevin Magnussen into turn 1. On hot tires, with aero compromised, and the leader right in front, it was not the wisest move, and he finished in 15th position. Palmer's race pace had been close to that of teammate Nico Hülkenberg, providing encouragement, but such form is ultimately irrelevant if you haplessly spin the car twice in 3 corners.